yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for June 3rd, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of video gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Take-Two boss got a little snippy about GTA 6 coming to PC, or maybe not. And Astro Bot is what gaming needs right now. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Emma Fyffe, everybody. Emma, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's a big week. But we're here this morning and yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great time.
we did it. We got to this week. This week is when, like, by the end of this week, we will be in LA. It'll all be happening. A week from now, it'll be over, basically. So
I know, isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. Yeah. That's always like what I do in these moments, Emma. When I get stressed, when I start like getting in my head about things, I expand the timeline. Right? I'm like, think about how you're going to feel about this moment a year from now, like 2 years from now. You won't remember any of these specifics. And it's like, no, it'll just be the big moments. So just make sure those big moments are as good as they can be. And that's it. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, it usually does really help. Oh, Dan, right? Oh, the game set's currently unavailable. Okay, why don't you call them and get on support and do that all day instead. I have recovered a little bit. If you were wondering where Friday's episode was, I was sick. I woke up feeling way sicker than I thought I would, and it was like a full on like sinus infection and everything like that. I got some.
Jeez.
It's easy to take care of. You run to the doctor. Got some antibiotics. Been on that for the last couple of days. Feeling a lot better for sure. But it was we might have overstated the responsibility that the game sent had, and I swear the company did not reach out. They really did not, or anything like that. But it's like looking around, I'm like, I had like a million sinus infections in the last year and a half, and that was long before the game sent ever arrived in my home. Personally,
it's not a game sent related infection.
I don't think it helped. I'll say that. I think it probably exacerbated the issue. But that's just my brain guessing. I have no evidence to that other than what's written on the internet. Yeah, listen, I feel good. I'm not sounding 100%, but I feel a lot better. So yeah, we'll get into it. We'll talk about some news and all that. But how are you holding up, Emma?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm great. This is tomorrow. We're like packing gear, finishing packing gear. We already started a little bit on Friday. Wednesday we're getting our cargo vans so we can finish up set piece shopping and transporting stuff. And yeah, it's all happening, man. It's great. It's great.
Well, we appreciate it. None of this is possible without Emma, everybody. It's what I keep saying. So thank you so much. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Take-Two discusses decision not to announce Grand Theft Auto 6 for PC. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Rockstar owner Take-Two has discussed the decision not to announce Grand Theft Auto 6 for PC. The first Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer was released in December, confirming a planned 2025 release date for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. During an interview at a TD Cowen conference this week, which is like, a financial event or something like that, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick was asked whether the lack of a PC announcement was set in stone or if the game could be confirmed for the platform at a later date. I gotta say, this response is like kind of snotty. I'll read it here. He's like, well, the lack of an announcement is not something, or he's asked, like, is it set in stone that it won't come to PC? Well, the lack of an announcement is not something that could be set in stone, as near as I could tell, because the only thing that happens after the lack of announcement is an announcement, I suppose, or a continuing lack of an announcement. I guess that could happen too. It doesn't seem to me that either would be set in stone. And that transcription came from VGC, so shout out to them. He went on to say, but Rockstar has an approach to platforms which we've seen before, and they will make more announcements in due time. I do believe that the right strategy for our business is to be where the consumer is. And historically, what this company has done is address consumers anywhere that they are on any platform that makes sense. And then he added, over time. Now, to me, this is basically him saying Rockstar's going to do what they do. And what they've done is release a game for consoles, and then it comes to PC later. And everyone just accepts it because it's Rockstar. And I think that's what he's saying, right?
That's exactly what he's saying. I mean, again, this is their model. This is always how it's been in their history. They release it on console. 6 months to a year later, it's also on PC. It's interesting from the perspective of we're seeing a lot of companies making the shift to try to make their games more widely available, or so says companies like, example, Square Enix, which we've talked about on this show before. But I don't know, Rockstar, it's been working for them. I guess, like, from my perspective, as somebody who has historically been a console gamer as opposed to a PC gamer, I feel like a lot of people who were console gamers have like made that shift to PC and aren't necessarily updating their consoles, but are instead focused on their PC. So I wonder if there's like more of a PC market than there previously was.
Right. So, I mean, that could have happened as well. Do you think that would like change Rockstar's calculus? Do you think that they're worried about that, or they're like, no, this is still what's best for us?
No, I think that they're going to do this time around. And if they struggle with any sort of console sales, then they will make the shift for the future. They will expedite getting GTA 6 onto PC. Yeah. But I think that from their perspective right now, they're like, this has always worked for us, so it's going to work again.
Yeah, and like, you know, do we have evidence to the contrary? We don't. So,
no.
And frankly, what we have evidence for is that this really works for them because it you know, it hits the consoles. And then when they bring it to PC, it's not like other games where it's like, okay, now we're going to clean up the scraps on PC or something like that, which, you know, isn't every game. A lot of games have come out to PC a little bit later and there's fanfare. But with the Rockstar games, there's 1,000,000% fanfare to the point where it's almost like a secondary launch. It's almost like it gets a whole other launch week all over again. And there's that much more excitement. And doing it this way kind of ensures, I think, maximizes the chance of double dipping because there's people who really want to play on PC. They probably have a console. Many of them have a console. They might pick it up there. And then they're like, well, I want it on PC so I could do role-playing servers or mods or whatever else, or I just want to have it in the maximum visual fidelity, so I'm going to buy it again. And it works.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, is that I think, now, here's the thing, to play GTA 6 on PC, you are going to need to have all of your specs fully up to date to really handle the game at its full capacity.
Yeah, what it could possibly do,
I'm guessing, but I think it's a pretty educated guess. And however, that being said, GTA is a game that lends itself so well to PC gaming because, like you said, the role-playing servers, the mods, all of which doesn't exist within the console market. So, you know, I think that they are going to, again, see how this does. I'm very curious to see, though, how GTA 6 is going to run on a PC in general, because it is, again, being made for those current generation consoles. So, for example, Baldur's Gate 3 was out on PC for a while. I had a lot of friends who it was literally like completely blowing up their PCs. Yeah. I had to bring a hard drive over to my neighbor so he could attempt to recover things and like get Baldur's Gate up and running. So in that moment, I decided, okay, well, my PC specs are not fully up to date. I'm going to wait and play this on PS5. So it's a brave new world out there, but I do think that the sales are going to be affected more than Rockstar and Take-Two think.
Yeah, I think that they will have to roll with punches here, right? I think there's going to be positive benefits to doing things this way. One is, you know, you can focus on the console version, make it the best possible game that you can. You can also do essentially a soft launch of GTA Online 2, whatever that looks like. They have not said a word about that. We have no idea what it's going to look like. But assuming that there is like a GTA Online 2, they could do what is equivalent to a major soft launch where it's like, yeah, there could be some kinks at the beginning. There likely will be. The console gamers might even like reject it at first.
Sure.
But then you have a year to work on it. Launch it on PC again and be like, and now here is the new season of GTA Online 2 where we fixed everything. It's launching on PC, so there's going to be this huge influx of new players. And now if you have it on console, you already have it there. Come check back in. We have crossplay. Everyone's playing together, and it's way better than you remember. I'm sure they're going for the best possible launch out of the gate, but this it does just give them this massive opportunity to sort of reset the expectations for the first couple of years. And we're talking 2025 for GTA 6.
Sure.
And that's on consoles. So then 2026 on PC. And then by then, we're very quickly after that, we're talking about the next Xbox. And honestly, the rumors right now is the next Xbox in 2026. So it could even like launch on there and PC simultaneously. And then a year or two later, PS6. And that sets it up for the future. So they have like these major like road, like points on the road going forward where they can really just roll with everything. And in the meantime, if they do have a couple of things where it's like it doesn't, they do have to roll with the punches. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fine, but you're Rockstar, you should be able to figure that out, right?
It is interesting because it's almost an opposite approach to an early access situation. Most games are early access on PC, but they almost get an opportunity to have that console be that 1.0 launch. And I'm with you that they're going to make it as good as they possibly can, but it does give them that opportunity to test on a smaller audience, see how things are running. They'll figure out what people don't like. And then when it comes out on PC and the next generation of consoles, it'll be just perfect, I'm sure.
Yep. And I expect this to be just fine in the long run because it's GTA and it's inevitable at a certain point. There's just people want that game to be good and they want it to be the game. And I think, if you're Take-Two and you're Rockstar, you do whatever it takes to make sure it gets to that point, even if it doesn't launch in that state. And really, they've taken 12 years to get to the point where it's like, it probably will launch in a state that is completely respectable. So
totally.
All right, here, let's move ahead to Sony says Astro Bot is more than 4 times the size of Astro's Playroom, and it has no microtransactions. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Sony has shared more information about its upcoming Astro Bot platformer, including details on its size and microtransactions. Astro Bot was announced during a State of Play presentation last week. Set for release on September 6th, the game puts the titular hero in his first ever full-sized non-VR adventure in a frequently asked questions section on the game's website. Sony confirms that the game will be significantly larger than Astro's Playroom, the free game included with every PS5 console, which took around 3 hours to beat. In response to a question asking if the game would be free like Astro's Playroom, it replied, no. Unlike Astro's Playroom, Astro Bot is a standalone, full-sized adventure that offers over 4 times the world's 300 bots to rescue and dozens of new powers and features to discover. It also notes that there are no in-game purchases or microtransactions, saying, no, each planet already has plenty of coins to find and spend in the Gacha lab. Okay, so one, this is all good news to me. I love hearing this. I want the game to be described this way, where it's like, hey, it is massive and it's significantly bigger than what you've had before. And using the phrase full-sized adventure, yeah, it should be. And it sounds like that's exactly what they're making. So good news, in my opinion. What do you think this says about the potential price for this thing? I try to like dial this in with people. I'm of the opinion, and this is me being a huge Astro mark. I am like just in the bag for Astro. I want it to be 70 because I want them to come out and say, this is a full-sized adventure. This is what a game can be at $70. It could stand alongside The Last of Us just like anything else. That's what I want. And yet, if it was 50, I'm not going to complain. But I personally, I think they probably will launch it at 70 the way they're talking about it. But I won't be surprised if it's $50. Where are you at?
I'm on the $70 train, and this is why. There are multiple people, particularly people who are more of the PC gamer variety, who own PS5s And the only thing that they really love on their PS5 is Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
Astro is universally beloved. So why wouldn't Sony try to capitalize on that by making a game that they feel is worth that $70 price tag and seeing if they can sell it at that? Because I'm telling you right now, people are going to pay $70 for this game.
Yeah.
So, I'm really pretty firmly on the $70 side.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is an opportunity for Sony to also be like, to catch a wave here, because this was a story from Friday, and again, I was off, but it was like, hey, 99%. The ratio for likes to dislikes for the Astro Bot trailer on YouTube was 99% to 1%. And then for Concord, for one of the trailers, there's multiple trailers, but the one trailer that got really hammered was like 18% to 82%, and it was in favor of dislikes. Look, it's hard to make a big live service game. It's hard to make something that is going to have that appeal and make that work. This isn't about Concord. It's about like, okay, yeah, so you got to keep trying those, whatever, and people are going to have their initial knee-jerk reaction, me included. But Astro just seems universally beloved and something that everyone's going, yeah, we want this. And so I think Sony needs to like jump at this moment and say, oh yeah, this is also what we do. You always think of us as the sad dad narrative, adventure games, and you think of us partnering with Square Enix with big expensive games, and we're going to keep doing that. Clearly, we're going to keep doing these things where possible, the Square Enix things, whatever. But we also can make something like Astro, and this is also one of our marquee games. And I think they should be like, hey, this is just something slightly different that fills in the gap. It's something that's probably less expensive to make. It seems like it was quicker to come out than a lot of other games. I feel like they should just be like, yeah, we make family games as well. This is our mascot. Yeah. Let's jump on it. Do you think that that's what they're going to do in this situation?
I mean, they would be absolutely morons not to, because literally, exactly as you said, everyone loves Astro. I don't know anybody that's like, Astro's Playroom was pretty mid. Like, everybody loves it. It's the best integration of the DualSense controller and all of its because it's like other games, other games, they really try to ham-fist that in there. The ways they attempted in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I was like, absolutely not. I just want to use
it's like, oh, honey, you tried. Yeah.
But in Astro, it feels natural. It feels fun. And this is an opportunity for PlayStation to have that mascot character that Crash Bandicoot just didn't turn out to be,
Yeah, right, yeah. I mean, and there's been a lot of sort of false starts with that stuff. And Sony, I think, has established themselves the same, not saying, but implying that they don't need that mascot character. And yet here we are with Astro clearly becoming that. In chat, I missed who said it here. It was Alex Misery says, there's no way it will sell more than Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which I'm trying to remember, it did like maybe 1 million, 2 million, maybe 3 million in that range. And I mean, what I'm expecting from Astro is 3 million-ish, 3 to 4 million, which would be, I think, be pretty good. I hope that's good enough. But yeah, do you think it has the chance of outdoing Ratchet and Clank? My take with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is very good game. I love it. I think I gave it 5 stars when I was writing reviews for GamesBeat.
For sure.
I adore that game. Couldn't stop playing it. And yet the sort of vibe I got from fans of the series, I'm someone who's like kind of come to Ratchet and Clank late.
Sure.
Vibes I got was like, hey, it's more Ratchet and Clank. And so we're kind of like, take it or leave it. Like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, listen, I played it, and it's like one of the best things on the PlayStation 5, but whatever. I get it. People are going to have different takes on it. It does not seem like people are having those feelings about Astro. Everyone's like, no, finally, we're getting the real Astro game.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, is that I think that Astro is almost nothing but unexplored territory and unexpanded upon gameplay that we see in that pre-pack. And you also have to think about it from this perspective. And it's the model that I have said for a while now that Xbox goes for with the Xbox, which is really a machine that is to sell Game Pass. It is not to the reason the hardware exists is to play Game Pass. It's not to sell games, it's to sell Game Pass, which is why you have things like the Xbox Series S, which is at that extremely affordable price point and is constantly on sale, because the idea is get the machine in the home and get the people on Game Pass. Okay, so think of it this way. Astro was a pre-pack with the PlayStation 5. There are so many people who, from their perspective, haven't spent any money on Astro yet and have also gotten hooked on Astro because of the fact that it comes with their PlayStation 5. So I think that this does have the potential to do a tremendous amount of sales. And I could see it being in that range, because you have to think of it this way, that there's a lot of people who are not into Ratchet and Clank who are into Astro, because again, it was just available to them. So
backed in. Yeah. Right. That's what I'm hoping for. And that's the sense I'm getting, is that, no, I think we really are in a moment with Astro. My assumption coming out of the state of play was, well, that's great for me. That's great for the Astro heads out there, people who did spend 80 hours doing the speedrun mode and breaking their hands playing that game. But, clearly, Concord's going to be way bigger. And now I'm like looking at it. I'm like, I don't know anymore. I'm starting to get the sense that people are hungry for this in a way that they haven't been in a while. And, I've been like, superhero movies, right? For so long, we're just like, that's all we're gonna get. That's it. It's over. We're never gonna get another kind of movie ever again. That's the only thing that makes money. It's the only thing these companies care to invest in. And now here we are, and that line of thinking seems absolutely absurd that we ever thought that, because of course we were gonna come to the natural conclusion and move on for the most part. And I think
so unique,
right? Yeah. We're like. And especially in gaming, where I think novelty is such a primordial source of the enjoyment from gaming, I think people are like, I've had enough of these hero shooters. I'm not even willing to give Concord a chance. And that's kind of shitty for Concord. Whatever. What can we do about that? But turn back to Astro, and Astro say, okay, well, how about this? And everyone's go, yes, 100%. I will show up for this. And I think there is a bigger opportunity here than I realized initially when Astro was announced there, and I couldn't be happier about it. It's just a good sign that they have a game hitting now, and I think what's going to happen is in a couple of years, when all these other studios, like Microsoft closing down studios and people not investing in making games anymore, it's like, hey, there was a window of opportunity where you could have launched something that was different and you were afraid to invest in games, and now you have nothing, and so you missed that window, and now there's some other new train that has come along that you're going to try to catch up to and waste a ton of money on that once again. So and I think just Astro is going to be hitting at the exact right time.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is a top tier 3D platformer, and again, it's like they have established gameplay elements that really are unique to the PlayStation 5 that make it a PlayStation 5 centric 3D platforming experience in a way that it cannot be on other console PC. So I mean, this is such a right to win for Sony. Astro Bot, Game of the Year contender. I think
it's for shoot a Game of the Year contender. Yes, and I won't be surprised if it's mine. I won't be surprised if it's nominated for Game of the Year at like the Keeleys or something like that. It's got a real shot, and if it nails everything, it should be. All right. Let's hit this next one. PlayStation VR 2 adapter for PC is going to launch on August 7th. This comes from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Sony Interactive Entertainment will release an adapter enabling PlayStation VR 2 to be used as a headset for virtual reality supported PC games / Steam VR on August 7th for $60 at select retailers and PlayStation Direct, the company has announced. Players will also need a compatibility or a commercially available DisplayPort cable sold separately that is compatible with DisplayPort 1.4, as well as a Steam account and PC and blah, blah, and all those other things. As PlayStation VR 2 is built specifically for PlayStation 5, some key features such as HDR, headset feedback, eye tracking, adaptive triggers, and haptic feedback are not available when playing on PC, although I bet once this thing gets plugged into a PC, the community is going to figure a lot of that stuff out. So I wouldn't, but don't buy this thing for $60 thinking that's going to happen. But I'm not too worried about all of it. This is cool. I'm glad they're doing this. I'm not surprised that the adapter is pretty expensive. Again, I think this is something they had to make specifically just for this device. This is not like, I'm sure a lot of it's off the shelf, but there was definitely some engineering done for this thing to make it work. I remember the person that got PSVR 1 working on the PC looked at this and like, it's possible, but boy, I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of work to make this thing actually happen. And it's gonna require a specific dongle. Well, here we are. Sony made that thing. What do you think this does for PSVR 2, Emma?
Nothing. I kind of feel like
ding ding. I think you're right.
You know, what are you doing, PlayStation? There's plenty of VR headsets already for the PC. You know, I feel like if people want to do VR on PC, then they're gonna not go for this option, which requires all this other proprietary hardware, you know?
And like, you know, not to be like too reductive, but like $60, that's a decent amount of the way to just saving up and getting a Quest 3. You know, especially like this Black Friday where it's probably going to be super affordable and discounted. And it's like, man, once you have that, then it's not, you know, specs wise, doesn't match up to the PSVR 2. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't really matter. It's good enough in most ways. And then it's also wireless with Wi-Fi 6E. So it's like you flawlessly can use Steam VR wirelessly from another room. I'm just like, it's a tough sell for me. I imagine it's going to be a tough sell for most people. And then it also feels like, well, you know, Sony doing this, what is the benefit for them? The only benefit I could see, Emma, is we have a bunch of PSVR 2s in a warehouse. This will sell them maybe a little bit faster. Other than that, it's not like they're going to be porting the PlayStation VR 2 games that they've made, which I don't really know how long that list is, but I don't think it's even double digits. It's not like they're going to port those to PC to sell them to a new audience. That's not happening here, right?
Well, it's like what PlayStation needs to do is have the Astro of the PSVR 2. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it feels like, oh, this is something that was truly designed for this, that is making use of all the features in a way that feels fun and organic and not ham-fisted because we can. It's not to have the PSVR 2 be PC compatible.
No, I don't think so. We'll see. I'll tell you, if you want to get one of these things, get them right away. Get a dongle right away, because I don't think these things will be up for sale for very long. No. This feels like a, you know, in the moment solution, and when they're gone, they're probably going to be gone. But who knows? Actually, you know what? I should ask, does anyone in chat know, is the adapter to make PSVR 1 work on PS5, which was free, I think, still available? I'd be curious if that was the case. I doubt it, but if it is, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this thing will be available for a long time, especially since they're charging for it. But I would be curious to try this, Emma, and that's it. I'd probably just put it on one time, be like, okay, it worked. That's interesting. And
cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Bye.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, a lot more headlines to get into, including what's happening with that new Asus ROG Ally X, and a lot more right after this. All right, we are back. And as promised, and I guess real quick, Bosch in chat says you can still request that adapter from Sony, apparently. I wonder, okay, interesting. I think I lost mine. Maybe I'll request another one. I want to play Astro's Rescue Mission, because I never finished that. And I'm like, I should play that before the new one comes out.
Yeah.
Asus ROG Ally X, full specs revealed, and it's up for pre-order now. This is from Darren Bontheus at GameSpot. Pre-orders are now live for the Asus ROG Ally X, which launches in July as a major revision to the Windows PC gaming handheld introduced by Asus last year. This new version from Asus looks set to address some of the problems from the original device, as it has made several tweaks to its design. While the Steam Deck is still seen as the go-to gaming machine in the market, the ROG Ally emerged as a strong alternative thanks to its flexibility and powerful mobile technology packed inside of an attractive frame. The ROG Ally X will be released on July 22nd and is priced at $800. The Ally X Asus has for the LIX, Asus has addressed the criticism from users related to the 2023 model. It has upgraded the battery life, the RAM, the storage, and a more ergonomically friendly chassis design, as well as improved cooling and connectivity. One of the big problems with the Roger was apparently the cooling thermal device put all the heat right on top of the SD card and was just destroying those things. So people weren't very easily able to, increase the size of the storage in the device. Hey, these revisions sound pretty good to me, and this is kind of where I want this market to be. I don't need, there is a side of the handheld PC gaming market, and it's mostly companies from China that I have a lot of fondness for, but they're like, our business model is to iterate really fast with full products. Like, we are going to put out one product that has like a slide out keyboard, another one that has two screens, INEO, even like on the lower end, Ambernic, and they put out a new one every couple of weeks. And I'm fine with that. But for these bigger ones that are like $500 plus, that's such a big investment. I kind of like want things to cool off for a couple of years. And that's exactly what they're doing here. This isn't going to be a lot more powerful, but bigger battery life. Number one problem with the Roger Ally is it dies in about an hour no matter what. So do that, more RAM, more, cooler, easier to hold. All that stuff sounds good to me. How are you feeling about it?
The look of it, I will say that. It's expensive.
$800 is a lot. Yeah, that's that is like in the range of what the like special edition Steam Deck OLED was, right? It was like right around there. So I'm not going to be rushing out to pick this up myself. If Asus wants to send it to us for review, it's Giant Bomb, I'll definitely try it out. But $800 for a revision, there's definitely been a lot of people who have been like, hey, the Steam Deck is great, but if you want to do this and this and this easily, the Roger Ally is the clear go-to alternative. And there's probably been a lot of people kind of waiting. And if you've been waiting this long, well, why not go for the new, bigger one that is going to be better in just about every way? So it makes some sense.
Sure.
But $800 is a lot of money. I would have to like get my hands on it to know if it's justified in any real way.
Yeah, because I was checking up on Steam Deck, and it's like right now the 1 terabyte OLED sells for $650.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I would need to see that the Ally is really superior in performance quality, but at the same time, I don't know. I mostly like to play little indie games on my PC, so just a little Steam Deck is great for me.
Yeah, for real. Even when I am playing AAA games, it can run them a little bit better, but that battery life is so bad that it really does bum me out. So I guess I'm like, okay, so then the equation becomes, is extra battery life and extra performance worth $800? And it's like, yeah, I can have that conversation with myself, and I think a lot of people will be like, yes, I'm going to go for it. But it's not like some slam dunk, I don't think, the value proposition. Now, these things do get discounted prices. They
totally,
and it's the market isn't like so solid that like when a new device comes out, you could see that the older models drop their price very quickly. That happened with the Steam Deck. So I think that like there's like a bottom waiting to fall out on these things. So if you wait a little bit, I bet you'll be able to get a pretty decent deal on it. But as it stands on launch day, like I'm just not going to be lining up for this thing. If it was significantly more powerful and had all these upgrades, that probably would win me over. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not completely put off this. Let's put it that way. If it's really running better than Steam Deck and they improve that battery life, there's like this. I think this really does have a lot of potential. Yeah, is what I'm saying, and I color me very interested, but the $800 price tag does give me some pause as of right now.
All right, let's go to what I think is a breaking story here. Let me take a look at this. It's a VGC. Occasionally we'll do breaking stories and things will get messy, so I'm going to just double check this. It's VGC, so let's go for it.
All right, let's do it.
This is from Tom Ivan, who says Google employee reportedly behind a number of leaked Nintendo announcements. A number of leaked Nintendo announcements originated from a Google employee who accessed private videos in the Switch maker's YouTube account. That's according to 404 Media, which has obtained an internal Google database tracking thousands of potential privacy and security issues reported by employees between 2013 and 2018. The include Google. Okay, it's probably miswritten. These include Google accidentally collecting voice data from children, leaking the journeys and home addresses of carpool users, and YouTube making recommendations based on video users that had deleted their video history. In one case, a Google employee is said to have accessed private videos in Nintendo's YouTube account and leaked information ahead of the company's planned announcements. An internal interview came to the conclusion that activity was non-intentional, according to the leaked report. At Google, employees can quickly flag potential product issues for review by the relevant teams, the company said in a statement to 404 Media. When an employee submits the flag, they suggest the priority level of to the reviewer. The reports obtained by 404 are over 6 years ago and are examples of these flags. Everyone was reviewed and resolved at the time. In some cases, these employees' flags turned out not to be issues at all or issues that employees found in third-party services. And that's the end of the quote. Nintendo recently confirmed that it will announce the next console, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I think the story here is like several years ago, someone was able to like go to the account. Okay. And because of their access to YouTube, were able to see private videos and then maybe share that stuff, assuming it was like not private or something like that. There's been this rumor for a long time, Emma, that one of the leakers has access to YouTube, and that's where they've been getting all their information because they tend to leak stuff a couple days beforehand. I've never fully bought into that because it's like, if that was happening, that probably would have been shut down some time ago. But it's clear at some point it did happen, but it also sounds like something that YouTube was aware of and did shut down because the last time that this happened was 2018, apparently. Just a weird thing, though. If I ran one of these companies, I would never upload my videos, though, before they were like ready to be announced because I would be worried about this.
Yeah. Look, from the perspective of having something uploaded ready to go, I get it. Like, we want to manage our media and have things automated so that we're not beholden to just, being there in real time to launch something. It's really nice to have work-life balance. But that being said, it's just not, I don't know, it's not secure enough. And the like bigger you get, the more interest there is in like screwing things up for you. I don't know. I'm with you is basically what I'm saying.
Yep. All right, let's get back to these other headlines here.
Yeah.
Let me go. There we go. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 to feature even more combat options. This is from Alberto Garrido at Game Reactor. Although Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a masterpiece, at least in our opinion, it doesn't seem to have achieved the sales success they were hoping for at Square Enix, and perhaps that's one of the reasons why they're now shifting the release strategy towards multi-platform releases. We don't know if this will also translate to the third and final part of the Final Fantasy VII trilogy. What we do know is that for the next installment, combat director Teruki Endo wants to implement even more freedom of action, which may mean more systems that blur the line between action and the hybrid system we've seen in the 2 remake installments so far. Meanwhile, director Naoki Hamaguchi also added that the development team expects the final installment of the trilogy to offer a, quote, different kind of gameplay experience to Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, and that the team hopes to complete development of the game as soon as possible. You're my Final Fantasy expert, Emma. What's your initial reaction to all of that, and how are you feeling about it?
It's one of the best things in Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth.
Yeah, I agree. As someone who's played those games kind of not nearly as much as most people, the one thing I find unassailable is that combat is really fun.
The combat rocks. It's so much fun. And, I remember at E3 in 2019 going into the Square booth and playing the demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake, wondering what are they going to do with the combat? Because there's no way they're going to keep it as your traditional turn-based combat. They've got to do something. And I was blown away. And it's even better in Rebirth with all the things that they added with the synergy attacks and whatnot. That was so much fun. Why why would you change the combat? That's not the problem. You know,
and that is like that is my reaction as well. And I like there is a possibility here that they're like, well, you know, we're going to add more options, but we're not going to take anything away. Do you think they could like thread that needle?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can, but I mean, maybe I don't go on Twitter anymore. Are people asking for different combat options?
Not from 7. No, they're asking for that from 16. Yes, but they're not asking for that from 7. So yeah, so it's like, what are you going to do? Add an option that's more like 16? People don't want that. They want more combat options in 16, not in 7. I think that what really gets me here is that they want to get out the third one quickly, like faster. And to me, that says, okay, then take that combat system and just build a new game around that. Don't change anything with the combat because you could save time there because you have something that works really well. That frankly, you should you should take that combat system and basically put it in 17 as well. Like that could just be the combat system for the next couple of Final Fantasy games. It's that good. Yeah,
it is really a perfect hybrid of the, you know, more action-oriented RPG and still having the menus of a turn-based RPG. Like I really, really think they nailed the combat. And look, they are in a good position to release this within 3 years because a lot of the back end of the story in Final Fantasy VII is retreading areas you've already been to. All of those areas are already built. But yeah, I don't think the combat's it, y'all. Maybe scale back on the mini games. Okay, there were a few too many mandatory ones that were not great.
Right, just take that energy and apply it in ways that like are expressed in different ways than just mini game, right? Like, you know, a whole, you know, what I'm like enjoying about Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door right now, which is like the main game I'm playing, is each chapter is very different and like gives you you know, it's, you know, you're still playing an RPG, you're still getting a lot of combat, but it's like, you know, now you're solving this mystery at this fighting facility and things like that. And clearly Final Fantasy has a ton of examples of that stuff, but it's like, you know, just, I think that's what people want more than just endless mini games. Now, there could still be a lot of mini games. I know there's some fans amongst our ilk that do really like that. There are
some great mini games in there, like Queen's Blood, keep going. Okay. Yes. Chocobo racing, pretty fun. I don't think there were any other mini games that I was like, this is awesome. I want to keep doing this.
The point here, though, is you want to get. I think they're right to want to get this next game out faster than even what the wait between 1 and 2, and especially the wait from the announcement to 1. And the path towards saving time on that is not redoing the combat. That's just not what needs to be done here. So, and to be fair, they're not. No one's said here we're redoing the combat. That is not how they're phrasing this.
Yeah, that's not how they're phrasing it.
Even more freedom of action is what they say. So what does that mean? That could be interpreted in any number of ways. Maybe what we end up seeing is something that's like, oh no, we just want to be able to people to be able to express themselves even more in this combat system that already exists.
Sure.
And at that point, it's like, okay, well, you know, you're just doing your job, combat director of Final Fantasy VII. You're not going to just sit there and be like, well, I'm not going to add anything new. I get it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, up next, Tomba Special Edition launches August 1st for PS5, Switch, and PC, and later for PS4. This is from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Tomba Special Edition will launch for PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC on August 1st. This is, MVG is working on this, a friend of the show. Shout out to him. I'm excited about this as someone who has only ever played Tomba here and there on like, when I like boot up an emulator. I always meant to play this thing.
It on OG PlayStation. I was like, wait, Tomba, that game with the little like caveman dude with the pink hair?
The pink hair caveman guy, yes. He's gone woke and he's back, everybody. He's got that pink hair. Can you believe it?
Incredible.
It's from 1997. It will feature enhanced graphics, new features like the ability to save anywhere and rewind time, a museum with classic print advertisements, hell yes, original packaging, and manuals, never before seen dev documents, and high-res original artwork.
This is fun.
This is one of those games that I first remember like 2.5D being mentioned a lot. Now, it definitely got mentioned before this, but it's like, there was that, I think it was a big part of the marketing for this, because at this point, in 1997, PlayStation was still not like Sony was not secure enough to be like, we're okay with 2D games. So it had to be more than 2D. So 2.5D. But Tomba always looked really cool to me.
Yeah, it had that 3D graphics, but it was side scrolling.
Right,
Yeah,
with the 2D character, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. I love that. Let's bring back Gex while we're at it too.
Yeah, why not? Listen, if these crews that go back and bring these games back, like in MVGs, that's his job basically. He wants to just keep doing these for all these games. I am so on board.
Yeah. Pandemonium, let's go. Let's just dig into those PlayStation archives.
Pandemonium 1 and 2 collection. Let's go. Yes. You can watch the characters go from like cutesy and young to weirdly like horny in the second one.
Yep.
The 90s were a great time, everybody. Jan is a huge Tomba mark. So we'll let him play that on the site, everybody.
That's great. I love that.
Watch your toes. Stand back. Let the man work. Hey, here's a game that has finally reemerged. Metal Slug Tactics launches this fall for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Also from Sal Romano Akamatsu. Basically, that's the story here. Is like, hey, we got a release date for this game. It is, let's see, it's coming June. Yeah, like the PlayStation. Oh yeah, they're just saying this fall, excuse me, but it will be available for a limited time for PC via Steam, a demo from June 10th through the 17th as part of the Steam Next Fest. So we are probably going to get a lot more information about this game here in the next little bit. I think it's got a Steam page now. So yes,
it's on the Steam page now. I'm looking at it.
Yes, Metal Slug Tactics first appeared at like a Nintendo Direct, I want to say a long time ago. It went dark. Christian says, thanks to my boy MBS. Yes, SNK has a major investment, if not outright owned by the Saudi government. So that's never great. Yep, that's like, oh, that sucks. But the people making this game are just making the game. I don't know. I always like the look of it. Metal Slug Tactics is one of those ones where it's like, it had been gone so long that I was like, is that ever really going to come out? And so now here we go. Have you ever played any of the Metal Slug games? I've only played them here or there, maybe in the arcade. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm certainly aware of their existence. I have not played them. I like tactical RPGs a lot.
Yes.
So I definitely, looking at this, I do like the look of it. It seems fun and goofy, which is like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the energy I like. I actually
that's the energy. Yeah, it's the energy
tactical
I like.
game. Yeah, tactical war game especially. Like, that's a good energy to go for. All right, last couple of stories here. There's a report that Take-Two is quietly shutting down Private Division. This comes from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. Take-Two has been embroiled in a heap of cost-cutting measures recently. After announcing that it would be letting go around 5% of its workforce, we've seen the shuttering of a couple of indie studios after the fact. According to a new report from IGN, this is all a wider effort to quietly shut down Private Division. Take-Two formed this indie publishing label in 2017, but according to the report, now there's nothing but a skeleton crew left. There is apparently a potential buyer for the company, but we'll have to see if anything comes of that. At the moment, it's not looking good for Private Division, as it has also terminated its agreement with Bloober Team to publish Project C. There's this is not the first time that in the history of gaming where a major publisher starts up an indie publishing label.
Yep.
And then it just slowly disintegrates over time. It just happens invariably because I think the expectations are so out of whack. Like this is the company that like bought Kerbal Space Program. Yep. And they were going to make Kerbal Space Program 2, and it got off to a shaky start, and it was going to take years to like get to a point where it was probably going to be in good shape. And probably would have been selling as good as the original ever did, if not better. It would have been a huge success. I can see it in my head. It's like it just takes a long time, and that's something like an indie studio dedicated to the game. They kind of just can't help themselves but do that. A major company though is like, nah, that's not worth it. That's just the easiest thing in the world to cut off our books and forget about it and move on to the next thing and make another bet instead because we just think that it will have a better chance of succeeding. And so invariably we end up in this situation with something like a Private Division. So it sucks, but it's like, man, I just wish they wouldn't even try these things anymore because you just know this is how it's going to end. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting too, because don't they have a game they're supposed to be publishing this year?
Probably, yes.
You know,
almost certainly.
So But yeah, look, uh, big publishers, just keep publishing your big games and let nice people who care, who aren't just trying to create another arm of business, publish the nice indie games.
Yep. Yeah. Got Tales of the Shire is
Yeah.
that the Hobbit survival game. Is that what that is?
Yes, it looks like Animal Crossing, but hobbits.
Oh, right. The farming Animal Crossing Hobbit game. All right, that either
Yeah.
is out or just came out or is about to come out. And then yes, No Rest for the Wicked is also the game that is in early access that they have not fully released yet, but it's it's come out in early access. There's also an untitled action adventure game from Game Freak, codenamed Project Bloom. And then Eternal Strands from Yellow Brick Games. The Moon Studios thing, going back to that real quick, that was also part of this story where it's like apparently Private Division was going to like do this big thing where they were going to collaborate in a major way with Moon Studios, who are the developers of Ori. But,
yes, yeah.
Right, but as reported on VentureBeat several years ago, Dean did a huge dive into that. That studios had a lot of allegations of toxic behavior at the top.
Yes.
Especially like Mahler, I can't remember his first name. Has Thomas Mahler. Thank you. There's been a lot of alleged, verbal abuse and several other issues. Again, this is all alleged, but it's in that story. And then in this IGN story, they're like, yeah, all that's true and more. Again, alleged by several people who are apparently familiar with the situation. And the plan apparently was for Private Division to be like, no, let's just bring in Moon Studios and let them do everything. And say, okay. And everyone was like, no, we don't want to do that because we don't trust these people. And we think that would be toxic. So yeah, Private Division falling apart. And Take-Two recently was like, no, we didn't shut down these indie studios. And it's clear that like maybe they're going to try to sell these things off in pieces or something like that. But it's falling apart over there.
Hey,
indeed.
What a mess.
What a mess. All right, last story here. John Romero's autobiography to get 2 adaptations. This is from Marie DeLisandri at GamesIndustry.biz. John Romero's autobiography is set to be adapted as a series and will also be the subject of a documentary. As reported by Deadline, Doom Guy, Life in First Person, will become a documentary directed by Rob McCullum, who's mainly known for 2023's Mr. Dress Up, The Magic of Make-Believe. The series adaptation doesn't have a director attached to it yet, but both projects will have Naomi Harvey serve as executive producer via Golden Possum Productions. Emma, I definitely want to be in the documentary. All right. I should be one of the talking heads. I'll do that, John. You get me in touch with all these people. But I also want a cameo in the television series. I think that's the least that could happen to me after me having to play Daikatana, raw dogging it without any fan patches. It's all I'm deserved. All right.
I think you deserve it, Grubb. We'll start this campaign. I'll talk to some people. I'll figure out who. I'm sure I can get to this Naomi Harvey person.
I will play young. I'll play young John Romero. I'll be little boy John Romero. I could do that. They could use CGI to make me young or something. It'd be like, why is he even the cameo? Who doesn't look like himself? But yeah, no, that sounds good to me. I really like John Romero. I'll say that. Playing Daikatana, whatever. I read Masters of Doom recently, and I'm going to read Doom Guy next. And he's just a gamer. He just is like the kind of cool kind of gamer. It's like, I just want to play games. I want to make the games I want to play. And I don't know. I got a lot of respect for him. So
I think that this is going to be a great documentary. I really... look, games history is a very recent thing, actually. Video games in the grand scheme of the world have not been around for that long. And largely a lot of games history has been lost because there was no efforts being made to preserve it. Much as a lot of really early film does not exist anymore because, again, like people weren't thinking in terms.
They didn't care.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, like, look, this is great. Any sort of attention we can bring to people like John Romero who are incredibly important to the overall story of video games as part of the history of the world is great.
Yep, and it's like, and, you know, it kind of can't be overstated how crucial their contributions to gaming was. It was everything in the 90s. It was a couple people in a small studio just changing the world literally. So yeah, I want that story told. And there's also a lot of drama between him and John Carmack. It'll be a fun story.
Yeah. Well, you know how many other people licensed that Doom engine? It's just fascinating.
Exactly. It started a bunch of studios and careers, Raven Software.
There was a pre-pack game in Czech cereal that licensed the Doom engine. Like,
that Bible adventure game. Yeah, I would like an episode about like how that happened would be fantastic. Yes. So very, very cool stuff. I hope it comes out and is very good. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the poll question. This is from Thursday. How often do you turn on your PS4 for any reason? 4% said they do it weekly. 5% actually still do it daily. 6% at least turn it on monthly. And then 84% have said, and that's a 4.3 thousand votes, I stopped using my PS4. So, you know, we're talking 15% of people still turning on their PS4 of our respondents, people that are on the Giant Bomb YouTube channel. And, you know, that is, I think, a pretty big number, but it's kind of, I think, what I would expect from like the typical like lag effect of people moving on to the next console. You talk to Sony, they're like, now 50% of people using PSN every month are on PS4. So that is going to be a vast majority of people who would never listen to a show like this, a much more casual audience, but they are still spending money and they want to capture that. All right. Before we get to the next poll question, Emma, why don't you tell people where they can find you, what you have going on, all that good stuff?
This week, you can find me producing live streams for Giant Bomb throughout the entirety of Summer Games Fest. If you are in the Los Angeles area or anywhere reasonably close by, or just want to be here, please come to our live show on Sunday, June 9th at 8:00 p.m. at the Bellwether Theater. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'd love to see your faces there. And it's just, it's going to be a really great time. But do be sure to tune in to all of the streams that we're going to have for Giant Bomb throughout the week, particularly our wonderful Giant Bomb at Night, led fearlessly by Jeff Grubb, who you see right here on your very screens. Please make sure he's not talking at nobody. It's going to be a really fun time. And
I'll talk to nobody. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. We got great people rolling through, and it's gonna look. It's a ton of work, but it's gonna be really, really fun. And I am proud of what I know we are going to accomplish. So be sure to check that out. That's what's going on with me this week.
It's going to be a good time. Thank you so much for all your help, Emma. Literally would not be possible without you. Tickets are available now. Still, go check them out. Links will be in chat. Links will be in the description. But go to Ticketmaster.com. Search for Giant Bomb. It's June 9th at the Bellwetherton View. Yeah, we get the name wrong every time. Bellwether. That's where it's at.
Bellwether. Yeah.
All right. New poll question. Let me see. I'll scroll up here. You can just see it. How will Sony price Concord? I know we talked about Astro Bot, but I'm also very curious about how they're going to price Concord, something they have not confirmed yet, other than to say there will be pre-orders. But that doesn't necessarily mean it will be only have a price tag. Is it free, but maybe with paid early access? Is it around $20 to $30, around $40 to $50, or around $60 to $70? I'll be interested to see where most people end up on this one. Vote however you want, with what you want it to be, what you think it'll be, what you think it should be, anything like that. We'll discuss the results on Wednesday on Game Miss Mornings here on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, tomorrow, Bombcast. Wednesday, we will definitely have we are supposed to have Blight Club. And then after that, all bets are off. We're traveling on Thursday. There will be content on Friday. We'll talk over the Keeleys, Summer Game Fest. And then we're going to go basically right into Giant Bomb at night, Friday, day one, night one. Mm-hmm. On Saturday, we'll have night two, where we'll probably be able to come. We'll bring a lot of stuff. We'll probably get to play a lot of the things that got announced at the Summer Game Fest. And then we'll come in, we'll talk about that on Saturday night. And then, of course, once again, Sunday night is the live show, night 3 of Giant Bomb at Night, live in Los Angeles. It's going to be a really good time, everybody. the very least, tune in, watch. You're not going to want to miss the shenanigans. I've booked a lot of cool guests. They're all going to show up and make sure that you're very entertained. All right, Emma, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Always a pleasure.
Thank you all for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye.
Fade to black.